Hello everyone, Francis Walsh here again with thedigitalmerchant.com, and today we're going to be looking at monetizing YouTube videos. So there are a number of ways to do this, and I suppose once you've built up your YouTube to a certain level of engagement, in some sense the hard work is already done, because obviously that's quite a difficult thing to do. But unfortunately, the ad revenue that you get from YouTube probably isn't going to be sufficient to support your channel unless you have a very, very big follower count. And even then, there are going to be a lot of other ways for you to make money on the table. So really, it's up to you after ad revenue to find ways to make money from your channel. Luckily, though, there are a number of ways you can do this, and we are going to be looking at a few of them today. So let's dive in. So the first thing we're going to look at here is the YouTube Partner Program. This is essentially just your ad revenue that I mentioned in the previous slide. And as I was saying, it's not generally going to be enough to provide a full-time income from your channel or to really fully optimize the earnings potential that's there. But it is obviously a good place to start. Once you have the channel characteristics that will allow you to satisfy the eligibility requirements, from that point, it just becomes passive income, really. You'll get a certain cut of the ad revenue depending on the type of channel you have and the type of engagement you're getting. So obviously, the more views, the more money you make. The percentage you get does depend on various things. So I know the type of channel is one big factor. The likes of tech and finance content, for instance, will command a higher percentage of ad revenue than the likes of general lifestyle content. Regardless, as I was saying, it's not really going to pay the bills by itself, but there's no reason not to do it. Once you have the eligibility requirements in place, I think you need maybe 1,000 subscribers is the minimum, and then there's a certain amount of engagement required as well. But from there, then you can sign up to it, and it's just money in your account every month. So it's a great place to start. So the next thing we're going to look at is affiliate marketing. And this is a great way to make money if you have a product-focused audience. So for anyone who doesn't know what it is, essentially you recommend products in your videos. You include links to those products then either in the video itself or in your product description. And the vendors then can track those links, and that it works so that when people purchase from your links, you get a cut of the money they spend with the vendor. So typically where you'll see it happening is on Amazon. So Amazon affiliate linking is a big industry, and it works really well, as I was saying, if you have a product focused audience. So let's say you make health and fitness content. You could promote, a new piece of gym gear that you're really enthusiastic about. And then you link to that piece of gym gear, and then when the people buy it, you get paid. To be honest, it's not quite as straightforward as that description makes it sound. It can be a little bit labor intensive, particularly when it comes to the likes of link management and making sure that your links are working and that they're an appropriate length and that people from the right regions are reaching the right, we'll say, Amazon websites. So when you reach someone from France, you don't want to direct them to the American Amazon website. You want to direct them to their local Amazon website. That's important, obviously, for user friendliness, but also for monetization as well, because you will get a better proportion of the revenue when you are sending people to the appropriate site, and there are ways of tracking that. And so one way you can manage these problems is by using something like Genius Link. And like Genius Link is you can see the homepage of the website on this slide here. Essentially, it will take a lot of that work off your hands. So it will automatically generate user-friendly links. It will track your link health to make sure you're not linking to any broken links. And it will make sure that the users who visit your website and use your links are going to the appropriate domain for them. So as I was saying, French people will go to the French Amazon, American people will go to the American Amazon, all that kind of thing. And it just really optimizes the process for you, makes sure you're getting as much out of it as possible. And it's a really useful tool for anyone involved in affiliate marketing. And if you are thinking of going this direction with your YouTube, then I really would recommend you can check it out. So the next income stream we're going to be looking at is digital products. Now, this again is something that is kind of specific to the type of content you create. So if you are a creator and your content really feeds into digital products. So let's say I'm a freelance writer, for instance, okay, and I follow people who are also freelance writers who will say are quite successful or who have like, you know, a lot of knowledge to share. A lot of people in this space will sell digital planners, or they'll sell courses, or they'll sell, you know, all that kind of thing that helps people like them get to where they are. So if you have this type of channel, then this is a really great way to monetize your following. Again, it can be a little bit labor intensive. Obviously, you have to generate the product, and this is a separate process from generating your content. You've got to set up a Shopify or, you know, a presence on Gumroad or whatever it is. And you have to kind of manage risks like piracy and unauthorized sharing of the product and all that kind of thing. So it's not without its challenges, but I mean, as you can see from the screen grab I've shared here, it is quite lucrative. And I suppose the beauty of it is that because it's productized, you know, you're no longer selling your time for money. It's, you know, once you have a presence online and you have a big following that will pay for your product, that's an income stream that can keep multiplying without requiring a huge amount of extra effort per unit on your part. So if you have that kind of following, this is a really great way to monetize it. So the next option we're going to look at is brand partnerships. So this, for anyone who doesn't know, and I presume most people are familiar, but this is essentially where you shout out brands in your content, or you even do partnered content with a brand. And the idea, of course, is that the brand is leveraging your platform to advertise its product or service. Now, the example I've used in this slide here is Nike. Obviously, that would be a very lucrative brand deal for any content creator to get. And I would imagine most content creators that are watching this video maybe aren't quite at that level yet. But the good news here is that this is an income stream that is available to creators of all sizes. It's not just for people with really big followings. And this used to be the case, but it more so in recent years. Creators with smaller followings of just a few thousand subscribers can still find earnings in this way. So I suppose the big advantage here versus, we'll say, something like digital products is that you're not taking on an extra workflow. I mean, you're not generating anything to sell yourself. So therefore, you're kind of just doing what you normally do. You make videos, you engage with your audience, and you find a way to work in these recommendations kind of naturally. I suppose another big plus here is that a lot of content creators will naturally have products and services that they like, and they will be happy to recommend to their followers. Maybe they use themselves. So obviously, you know, this is a great place to start if you think that there's something like this in your own life that will be suitable, whether, you know, it's a piece of software that you use, or we'll say if you have maybe a hiking channel, a pair of boots that you really like, or some other gear like that, you know, anything at all like that. If you can get onto the brand in question and negotiate a good deal, it's a great way to make money. This, of course, is where the work comes in here, because there is quite a bit of negotiation involved. You may need to sign up with an agency to get them to do some of the grunt work on your behalf, and then, of course, they will take a cut. And even at that point, it can be quite difficult to hammer out a deal that works for you, to make sure that you're not giving up too much space in your channel for too little a reward. And I suppose this is the other thing, is that you need to make sure you're doing plenty of content that's not necessarily sponsored or branded, because you know your followers don't want your channel to just become a forum for advertising. Essentially, they want to see natural content as well. So you need to find a balance, and you need to make sure that the ad or the branded content that you're getting paid for is a small enough percentage of your overall output that you're not alienating your followers. But when you can strike this balance right, and when you can partner with a good agency and get good brands and get good deals, this is a great way to make money, and there's some really, really good money to be made here as well. Now, channel memberships. Now, this is a concept you may be more familiar with in terms of the likes of Patreon. Which is essentially where content creators across channels will use Patreon to offer subscriptions to their members. And then once someone signed up for the whatever, say the $5 a month plan or whatever it is, they'll get early access to content, or they'll get behind the scenes stuff that the average subscriber doesn't get, all this kind of thing. And if you have a kind of a follower base that is, you know, really interested in your content and really wants to promote you, then this is a really good earner, because people will do it, you know, out of kind of loyalty to you and just out of a sense of wanting to support your channel. And obviously that's a great thing to be able to leverage if you can. Now I mentioned Patreon there. Like, this obviously is specific to YouTube, and it's a platform that YouTube has launched kind of in response to the demand of this and the traction that the likes of Patreon was getting. So obviously the downside here is that it's specific to YouTube. So that if you have a following from outside of YouTube, let's say you're big on TikTok or Instagram or wherever it is as well, you might be better off going for Patreon just to give yourself that flexibility. But if your follower count is largely native to YouTube, it can make sense to use this just because it's native to the platform. It just makes things that little bit easier. It's frictionless, and you can even access it through your creator account. So it's, there's not as much work involved in getting this set up. But I would recommend going for Patreon if you do have a big following elsewhere. But yeah, that's essentially all I have on this. I'm curious to see if anyone else has any interesting ideas as to how to market products or how to monetize a YouTube following. So if you do have anything like that, please do leave it in the comments. But other than that, that's all for me on this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.